It's October. October is one of my favorite months of the year because the weather officially changes, even though today was a bit humid. The weather officially changes to more crisp air, fall like weather. You get that chill in the air. And my favorite holiday falls in October, which is Halloween. Love all the specials that come on TV, love the movies, all the scary movies. The original Halloween is my all-time favorite horror movie with, of course, Michael Myers. I'm talking about the original from 1978, which also was the year I was born. So I'm sort of partial to it. Um, it's one of my favorite times of year. You know, you get to put out the decorations. You get to, you get to have a lot of fun. You go to haunted attractions. You know, it's a fun month. Give out candy on Halloween, right? To the trick-or-treaters, get to see all the costumes, the looks on the, well, they're wearing masks, but those who aren't wearing masks, you see the look on the faces when they look around and see the decorations. And I don't know, maybe the Eagles would like some candy. Would they like some fucking candy? Losing to Tampa Bay and Tennessee on the road was annoying. And I said in the last vid that loss to Tennessee was the most disappointing loss that I've seen this team have in over a year, over a season. Okay? They had a 14-point second half lead. You got to put your foot on the pedal. You got to put that team away, and they didn't do it, and they lost the game in overtime. Which, by the way, I guess we won't be seeing Titan fans pounding their chest this week after they lost to the Bills. That was a winnable game. And I said it last week, and I mean it. And I came under a lot of fire with all these Titan fans. Oh, look at it. Okay. It was a winnable game. The Eagles should have won that game. They're up 14 points. And I know you don't always. They should have won that game. That was a winnable game. And they let it get away. And part of the reason why they let it get away was because of stupid penalties. So they got the Vikings today at home. And I know the Vikings come in with revenge on their mind. I've said this in the last vid, and everyone knows it. Okay, because of the NFC title game last season. And first and foremost, congratulations to the Viking fans. You know, your team earned a win today. They got a win. It wasn't perfect for them, but they got it 23-21. So I guess you got your big revenge from the NFC title. Doesn't mean that you won the NFC with this game, but you got revenge from that game. Congratulations. Okay? Your team earned it. And part of the reason why your team earned it is because my team, the Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions, can't seem to figure out who the hell they are. You know, we're talking about Halloween. They're dressed up as some other. I don't know what the hell this is. Every week it's the same crap. It's stupid penalties at the worst times. It's the offensive line not blocking. It's the defensive line not being able to get enough pressure rushing for. It's Jalen Mills getting burned on a double move. It's receivers dropping passes. It's not running the ball enough. It's the play calling. It's across the board. I've watched this team since 1992. I've seen everything you can possibly see in football. Everything. And I'm watching this team this season, and every week I'm just sitting there and I'm scratching my head. I'm going, what the hell? What are we doing? Joe Banner once said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. And that's what this team is doing this season. I told my boss after that game against Tennessee last week, I said, you know what? I said, I don't know what to tell you. I said, this team, I don't like the body language on the field. They don't have that spark. They don't have that it factor that they had last season. It's just not there. To me, this feels like an 8-8 type of year. And I got, I got a lot of heat for it. But I said, I've watched a lot of football over the years, and I've seen teams that go through this. And I've seen this team go through this for those years. It just feels like there's just, it just feels like an 8-8 type of year. Like one of the, it just, not, there's just something missing. The execution isn't there. I mean, they dealt with injuries galore last season to key positions and key players, and they kept going because they never lost that belief, and they never that it factor was there. They were undaunted by it. And these are the same players that we see this season, with maybe a few new additions, but for the most part, it's the same team. And they come out every week flat. I saw a stat today on the post-game show. Ray Didinger said, this team, if I heard this right, this team has scored 7 points total through 5 games in the first quarter. 7. 1 touchdown, which was Carson Wentz in his first game back against the Colts. Drove right down the field, scored a touchdown. That was it. You got to set the tone to start a game. That's one of the things this team was so good at last season. They got up on teams and they kept up on teams. And it was on both sides of the ball. The pass rush was there. The offensive line was getting it done. The quarterback was getting it done. And look, Carson Wentz has played really well through these 3 weeks. You can only do so much with the offensive line breaking down left and right. I mean, I'm sorry. Tom Brady would have problems. Okay? Name me a quarterback. You can only do so much when the protection continues to break down at the worst times. And Lane Johnson, I mean, for God's sakes, he was one of the biggest talkers last season on the offensive line and in this offseason, right? He made comments about the Patriots, too, this offseason, didn't he? He just loved to run his mouth. What's he doing this season? He's getting beat left and right, and I do believe he's a good right tackle in this league. But my God, every week the guy beats him and he causes a strip sack on Carson, including today that went for a touchdown by Joseph, big lineman who rumbles down the field for a touchdown. A big momentum switch at that time because it was a 3-3 game. Eagles are driving, and boom, here comes the turnover. And by the way, the Eagles now on offense have 9 turnovers. The defense has caused 5. 1 turnover a game. That's not getting it done. It just isn't. You got to get more turnovers. And when you are on the field late in a game in the fourth quarter and you have to stop your opponent from getting points, and you're going to keep calling yourself, oh, we want to be known as this great defense. We want to be, our names want to be in there. Well, when you have an opportunity in a 6-point game, when you have your opponent pinned at home, you got to get the stop. You got to get the ball back for your offense. Not let that offense go down the field in the field goal range. On a 3rd down play, you give up a 17-yard catch and run to Rudolph down the sideline. That's not getting it done. And Bailey makes the field goal and you're down 9 at home. When all you had to do was stop you. And I know you see it every week, teams that don't make stops. But if you want to keep calling yourself this great defense, this shutdown defense, then damn it, when it's time to stop your opponent, you stop your opponent. The hell with who they have on that team, on that side of the ball. You stop them. You get the ball back, or you get, here's something. You get a turnover, an interception, a fumble, something. And I know one of the key parts of this game is when the defense did get a turnover, okay? They got a turnover, and the offense goes backwards because of stupid plays. Avoidable mistakes. Lining up wrong. What is this? The first time you played? I mean, my God. This team won the Super Bowl last year, and now they're lining up wrong. Time after time after time. Illegal procedure. Illegal. It's like, what are we doing? Avoidable mistakes that cost you games. And every game is important. I argued with my boss about this last. I said, every game in this league is important. You can't just give games away. Home field advantage is so important in the playoffs. And you give it away because you give games away. Oh, you haven't seen me angry yet. Oh, you haven't seen it. It's frustrating. And I've seen losing seasons with this team. Okay. God knows I've seen losing seasons with this team. But you know what? Those seasons you go into it, yeah. We didn't have the talent. We didn't have the coaching. We didn't have, whatever it was that you have these winning teams have. We didn't have that. It is what it is. What can you do? Or the coach got stale. Or the coach was an idiot, like Chip Kelly, giving away all the talent for no apparent reason, other than just to do it. I wouldn't be this upset about these games this season if I didn't see what this team accomplished last season. And for the most part, it's all the principal players at play on this team that won a damn Super Bowl against the Patriots of all teams last season. They're back this season, and it's like they forgot how to play. It's like they took some stupid juice in the offseason and they keep chugging it week after week. The mistakes that this team continually makes week after week after week are the mistakes that teams that, like the Browns, were supposed to make last season when they go 0-16. I mean, come on, you won a Super Bowl last season, and I get it. There are teams that win Super Bowls and then they're never to be heard from again, or what have you. I don't believe that this is one of those teams. There's too much talent. But they have a case of the idiocism now. Dumb penalties. Stupid penalties at the worst times. And I know that call against Bennett. I mean, come on. If you're not going to let defense play, I mean, that was one of the all-time worst calls that I've ever seen. And that's not what lost them the game. Okay, even though the Vikings got a touchdown, the next play or a few plays later, whatever it was, to Thielen in the end zone. Okay, but come the hell on. I do believe that some of these referees have a God complex, and they just want to take over these games. And they're calling just these ridiculous calls of roughing the passer. It's getting out of control. It's beyond out of control. Okay, but it is. That call against Bennett, when he was pretty much shoved into the feet of Cousins, when I saw last week Carson Wentz got hit twice in the head, including the play where he fumbled the ball and nothing's called, and because Kirk Cousins was corralled around the ankles and brought down like a pillow, we're gonna call that? What in the world? He was pushed into by Rudolph. You can't see that, referee? You can't see? Oh, no, because it's Bennett. He's a bad guy. It was one of the worst calls I've ever seen. And I'm not saying that that's what lost them this game. I'm not. But beyond that call, these other calls that the Eagles are called on, it was dumb penalties by the Eagles, including the offense. How many times you have illegal? I mean, come on. Too many mistakes. Too many mistakes. The offense, 2 turnovers. One leading to a touchdown. The other one in the red zone, Jay Ajayi fumbling the ball. After a great drive to start, the second half, you're down, knocking on the doorstep, here comes the fumble. Worst times this team turns the ball over. Good drives going, boom, here it is. Can't have it. Can't have it. And it's not like that. It's not like that they were being torched today, okay? Because the Vikings made mistakes too. I mean, Bailey misses 2 field goals. They turned the ball over on a bad play by Kirk Cousins on the backwards pass and the drop by the running back. Eagles caught a big break there, but they couldn't do anything with it. They went backwards on that drive because of penalties. Play calling. Bad play calling. They had a third and less than a yard, and they pitched the ball back against an athletic, defense. What are you doing? Why aren't we just going right up the middle with Carson Wentz or handing the ball off? You need less than a yard to get the first down. We're going to pitch it backwards to try to go 10 yards to get 1 yard. I always hate that play. It's like, why are you trying to do more work to get the first down than just, well, we're going to fool them. Okay, that really worked. I mean, look, God love Doug. He coached his team to a Super Bowl last year. He's the first Eagles coach ever to do that. But this season, the play calling has been just, it hasn't been as aggressive. It's been, I mean, forget about running the ball. I said this last week. The balance is just, it's nowhere to be found. You have Eagle fans that want Le'Veon Bell. I want Le'Veon Bell too. But does it really matter if you get Le'Veon Bell if you're not going to call run plays? I mean, I don't know if Le'Veon Bell's the difference on this team right now. Because there is no balance on this offense. And I know it's a passing league. Every week you see it. Teams pass. You saw the Vikings do it today. They don't have much of a running game, but they're just passing. It is not a running league. I get that. But you need to have some semblance of a run. For these RPOs to work and everything, you have to be able to run the ball just a little bit. And, people say, and they've said it all week and really the past few weeks, that, well, Frank Reich is now with the Colts, DeFilippo's now with the Vikings, and these are 2 guys that Doug was very close with in the play call. They were devising these plans before each week and coming up with this and coming up with that and helping them to win a Super Bowl. And that might be true. But you look at all these teams, all these winning organizations, and they lose coordinators left and right. The Patriots lose guys every year, seemingly. Every year. But they replenish them, and the fact is they still got Hoodie, and they still got Brady. Those are still the constants there. They lose coordinators left and right. They have been dominant for over 2 decades. They still lose guys every year. When you have success, you're going to lose coordinators. Every team does that have success. But some of those teams continually have that success because there's that system in place that is hard to fail. And you're always looking to do something a little different. You're not just keeping everything the same. You're adjusting because the league is going to adjust to you. You have to adjust back. And the things that worked routinely for you for a year, maybe 2 years, it's not going to constantly do that because there's going to be adjustments made to you. You have this blueprint out there that people are going to try to beat. And you need to adjust to that. And I don't think that this coaching staff has done that. I don't think that they've been nearly as aggressive. I mean, today we could talk about Doug not going for the long field goal when they're down 6. I personally didn't disagree with what he did. Because you know what? You still are playing at home, and you should have a good defense to pin your opponent back and to try to get the ball back with still enough time that, look, you're still down 6, a touchdown extra point still wins the game. Or at least puts you ahead with very little time left. So I don't disagree that he didn't go for the long field. I disagreed with him years ago in Dallas when he should have kicked the field goal. The long field goal to extend their lead on the road. But today, I don't blame him. It was a long field goal. Jake Elliott hasn't been as automatic with the long ones this season. Not that there was any weather issues in the stadium today. No wind, no nothing like that. Jake did kick a game-winning 61-yarder last season. That was last season. I saw the Giants lost. The Giants like to outdo themselves, don't they? 61 last, 63 this season. But no, I don't disagree. People will say, "Oh, he should have gone for the field goal there." Sure, but you do understand that. Look, the Vikings weren't doing a whole lot offensively in the second half. Maybe spurts here and there, but not really anything sustained. So I don't really disagree with him punting there. I thought that was the right move. I thought that was the right call. Because you are leaving it to your defense to try to get the ball back and perhaps get you the ball back in good field position that you can still go down, and score a touchdown. So I don't disagree with him punting there. There was still enough time left that, odds are you were going to get the ball back, and hopefully you're still down 6, and you still have a chance to win the game with a touchdown and extra point. It didn't happen, and because it didn't work out, Doug gets a lot of blame there. But I blame the defense. I'm sorry, I do. You not only didn't you stop, you let them run the ball on you on the first few plays of that drive. You have this great run-stopping defense. Where was it there on the first few plays when Murray was going for big holes there, getting yards, and that set it up. That set up that drive, and then here comes the third down conversion to Rudolph on a bit of a long developing play, and he's going down the sidelines, a la Joe Jurevicius those years ago, and it was just maddening watching that. Saying you had them pinned. Look, your special teams did their job. You got what you wanted out of that punt. You had them deep, pinned back. Go after it. Cousins made some plays. They ran the ball, and then they got the field goal by Bailey, the long field goal to put them up 9. And no, look, the Eagles still look. They went down the field. They scored a touchdown, onside kick, which they had a shot at. Thielen had the ball up for a little bit before he corralled it. A great play by him with pressure coming on him. But, again, the defense let them down. As they let them down a week before in Tennessee. In that overtime when you had them stop three fourth down plays and you gave them all up. One aided by a penalty and the fourth and freaking 15. And then the third down, you gave up a touchdown. So, look, defensively overall, they kept them in the game. But where you had to get that stop at the end, you had to get the stop. And I know they were on the field a long time because the first half, the offense was doing next to nothing. Next to nothing first half. Game looked over at halftime. It looked over. I started thinking about, I got some things to do. I got some errands to run. Maybe I should just hear the game on the radio. But, I watched, the first, how long in the third quarter. And I said, all right, well, they're still in this thing. I might as well just, stick it out here, watch it on the TV. And, I probably just should have gone and ran those errands. The way the game ended. Just, pulling hair out, going, what the heck? What are we doing? Disappointing. Disappointing because they made it disappointing. Stupid penalties. Offensive line not blocking. Defensive line, again, not getting enough. One sack today. Nice to see Brandon Graham get a sack. I mean, hey, we needed more out of this D-line. We needed more as a whole out of this defense getting sustained pressure. They got some pressure on Cousins, but just not enough. Not enough sacks. The one play, what was it? Long, like, looked like he had a clear shot at Cousins, and he went to jump to try to knock the pass down, I guess. I mean, got just go right at the quarterback there. Now, I know, with the way officials are calling these roughing the passers, that may have been a roughing the passer, who knows, but, he got faked out. Cousins pump faked, and then he threw for a gainer there, but it's like, you had the quarterback dead to rights, just you decided to jump. And just poor tackling. Every week, poor tackling. One of the calling cards of this defense last year is they tackled well. This was a short tackling defense. And you were seeing it week after week. They're just not tackling. I mean, you had Diggs in that one play. I forget what it was, like a third down too, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe second down, where he faked out Darby and Jones. I mean, you had him. And he puts one little move on, and they both go one way, he goes the other. It's like, well, they look like cartoons. It's like, what is this? What are we doing? And another problem with this, back on the offense, is last season. Look, one of the things we knew about this offense last year, they were real good at converting third downs. It didn't matter what the distance was either. They were the top team in the league last year converting third downs. This season, not so much. And part of the reason is the drops. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey with 2 big drops today. And the one I get, he was hit as soon as he made the catch, but 2 big drops by a veteran receiver. It just, and all these things just balloon week after week because they're mistakes. And the mistakes pile up on each other. The penalties, the drops, not tackling, not stopping your opponent on a possible third down stop, fourth down stop. It's just, like I said, this team took a bunch of stupid juice this offseason. And they continue to chug it down. I just, every week it's been. Even in the wins, it's been, how many penalties are we going to have? At key moments of the game. It's just, you got to play smarter. And you would think a team that went and won a Super Bowl last year would know how to play smart, but they just... So this is going to go one of 2 ways. So this week it's a short week. We're at the Giants, which we know that the Eagles' defense has not played as well at home on the road as they have at home. They've given up more touchdowns, on the road than they have at home. The Giants are a reeling team. They're desperate. I mean, the Vikings were desperate tonight. The Giants are going to be desperate on Thursday night, and they're at home. Now, the Eagles should be a desperate team, too, because they've lost 2 straight. 2 games that they could have won if they would have done the things that consistently that you should be doing, that we've seen this team, we know this team is capable of doing, and they haven't done it, leading to 2 straight losses. So they play the Giants on Thursday night, first division game of the season. And listen, if you go 500 in your division this year, I mean, forget it. You don't deserve it. So they got the Giants on the road. They come back home for Carolina, and then they go to London to play the Jaguars. And, I know the Jaguars have been a mixed bag on offense, but we know that defense plays every week. 3 tough games. This is certainly the part of the schedule that we saw coming into this season. I mean, I'll throw the Tennessee game in there too. I mean, look, Tennessee, I know some of the fans wanted to talk them up last week, and I get it. They were a playoff team last week. They won a road playoff game. I mean, playing them in their building wasn't going to be an easy game. It was a winnable game, as we saw, But I will throw the Tennessee game in there. Tennessee, home for Minnesota. Look, you're 0-2 so far in this stretch. 0-2. And now you got to go in a short week to play the Giants. And you know what? Talk's cheap. We've heard this team talk the talk all week. Oh, we'll make the changes. We know what we have to do. We've had great practices. We talk about practice, as Allen Iverson used to once said, famously. But, you can practice it. You can talk it. But you got to do it on the field. And you damn well better get off to better starts. This sluggish offense starting games. Again, what was it, like 7 points in the first quarter so far combined through 5 weeks? If I heard that correct from the Hall of Famer Ray Didinger. It's unacceptable. Not for this offense. It's across the board. Offensive line has got to play better, and they're capable of playing better. We saw them play better. We know what they're capable of doing, but they haven't done it. Receivers got to catch the ball. Doug Peterson and the coaching staff, you got to call better plays. Balance, run the ball a little more. I'm not saying be like it's the 1970s or 80s, just run the ball twice, 2 out of 3 downs, but establish a running game. Take some pressure off your quarterback. He's getting killed back there. Because the offensive line isn't blocking well enough in front. Well, you got to try something. Not just putting back the pass every time, We see what's happening. 2 weeks in a row, a strip sack. 2 weeks. And this one went for a touchdown. Now look, the Giants, for everything they are, they have a decent defense. And they're playing at home, and it could be their season on the line, as things have gone so far for them. Were they 1-4 or something like that so far? They're a desperate team that should have won this game today against Carolina, and they let it get away. So that the Eagles are certainly going to get their best effort. And again, by the way, they're playing the defending Super Bowl champs at home. First time they're seeing each other this season. And I know the Eagles have had Eli's number over the years. The one team that Eli Manning hates to play the most is the Philadelphia Eagles. And one of the reasons is because he's been a giver. I mean, there's been a lot of interceptions the Eagles have gotten off of number 10 over the years. They have really given him fits. And I hope that this defense finds themselves on Thursday night because they better. This is a game it's a tough game. It's a short week. You're on the road. And this defense has not played as well on the road. So you're going to be challenged. And the Giants are, they're coming in. And I know Eli has struggled, but they have weapons. They got Odell Beckham Jr., they got Barkley. I know he got dinged up at the end of that game, but I don't know what his, status is looking like right now. But if he plays, he's a weapon. I mean, and let's not forget last season, the 2 games the Eagles won against the Giants put up a lot of points. Eli Manning had 2 pretty good, probably 2 of his better games against the Eagles in his career and they lost both games. But, I mean, look, the Giants offense had their way with the Eagles defense last season. I know it's last season, but it is what it is. And that was a down year for the Giants. You talk about that late game, and the Eagles already had the division wrapped up at that point, and pretty much, a first-round bye. But, I remember that game in the Meadowlands last year. Nick Foles was in there, his first, official start, off the Wentz injury, and he put up numbers, but Eli and the Giants offense was, marching down the field almost every time against the Eagles defense. Till the very end, the Eagles defense finally stopped them. But look, I mean, they got weapons, and they're angry. They're a wounded animal, and as we saw today with the Vikings, you better bring your A game against these teams. I don't care what the records are. I don't care the Giants are coming into this game 1-4. They're still at home, and they know that they can turn their season around if they can, get back into winning ways. If they can win this game against the Eagles, a team that they couldn't beat last season, if they get a win, that's a big emotional lift for them. And we don't want to give them that. We want to keep them buried. Okay? We want to keep those Giant fans having agita. Even though we're in the club with them for beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I know they did it twice, but still, we're in that club of being able to beat Brady in the hoodie. But it's not going to be an easy game. I don't care what the record is. It's a divisional game on the road. They're never going to be just given to you. Okay? You got to earn them. And the Eagles better damn well show up. I want to see the team. Look, every year is a different year. And you can't just go off what we did last season. Okay? But I want to see this team show up. I know they're capable of playing better than they've been playing. Okay? I mean, you'd be foolish to think that any other, because there's a lot of talent on this team on both sides of the ball. They just have to play more consistently. Is it possible? Can they just do without the stupid penalties? When there's opportunities to make plays, to catch the ball, the receivers got to catch the ball in third down situations. Don't turn the ball over. Jay Ajayi, for God's sakes. I mean, do extras on the jugs machine. Whatever you have to do this week, or whatever the machine's, just maybe not the jugs machine, but the tackling machine, or just hold on to that damn ball. Okay? Listen, there's been a lot of talk. People are saying, well, they missed LeGarrette Blount, and maybe that's true. Their decision was to let him go to bring back Darren Sproles, and Darren Sproles is hurt, and, it is what it is. It's a shame. He is one of the leaders, I believe, on this team. He, of course, got hurt last season. He's hurt again this season. Hopefully he's back in there soon. He's one of those spark plugs. They could use Darren Sproles. I mean, they really could. And I understand it. LeGarrette Blount, he was a fan favorite last year. He made that big run against San Diego. He had a nice Super Bowl, scored a touchdown against his former team. He was a leader. And it's tough to lose guys like that, but teams lose guys every year. And you can't keep everybody. And their decision was they were deep at running back and they could let him go to bring back Darren Sproles. And, hindsight being what it is. Maybe they should have kept LeGarrette Blount on the team. But even then, I don't know what type of difference it makes if the play calling is the way it is. LeGarrette Blount doesn't change the play calling. He's not there with the headset on saying, oh, no, we have to do this. I mean, he's a leader. He's a veteran. He's won a lot of championships. And maybe his voice is missed as much as his, third down conversions. Okay? But you're going to miss players. You can't keep everyone year after year. Tough decisions are made. We have seen teams that win, teams that have success lose players. It happens every year. And it sucks. It does. I mean, there have been players the Eagles have lost years. I mean, we all know about Dawkins, but some of these other players too. And it's like, what the heck, why? And it is what it is. It's a tough business. I don't know if us fans can really do it in the front office because our heart would be with too many players to keep. It's tough. It's a tough business, but maybe there's part of it in there that they don't have LeGarrette Blount, but for me, I mean, if Darren Sproles is playing, and he, let's not forget, he converted a huge third down when he was in there against the Falcons some weeks ago, to help them win the game. So I'm hoping that Sproles gets back out there. I think he's missed on special teams as well. Hopefully he comes back healthy. Hopefully he comes back on Thursday or the following Sunday against the Panthers. Because, I mean, they, as much as they need LeGarrette Blount, I mean, they could use Darren Sproles out there, too. And I know Clement's been missing, too. I don't know why he wasn't in there today. I mean, he for all indications was he was cleared to go, but they just kept him out. I don't know. Maybe something happened. I have no idea why he wasn't in there. Coach's decision, who knows? But, hopefully he's back out there Thursday night. Listen, it's frustrating. I mean, you can see it in my voice. You can see it out in my reaction to this video. It's frustrating. And it's frustrating because I've seen what this team's capable of doing. A year ago. We're not talking about 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It was last season. And you can say, oh, smoke and mirrors. I mean, look, you do what you do with all those injuries, and you still win. I don't know if that's smoke and mirrors. I still think that's talent. But I think that it goes across the board. It's the play calling has to be better. The play has to be better. And yes, the front office has to be. I still think it was a mistake by not getting Josh Gordon. And I get all the risks, but this team still needs playmakers. And I know they got one back in Alshon Jeffrey, and knock it down. There you go. I'm watching the Dallas-Houston game, tied at 16, going overtime. Come on, Houston. They got Alshon Jeffrey back. Hopefully they get Darren Sproles and Clement back. They're playmakers as well. But, again, if you had a chance at Josh Gordon or Jordan Matthews, I'm still going Josh Gordon. I mean, he's a playmaking receiver. Yeah, he's a headache, and he's one suspension away from his career being over. Okay, I get that. But sometimes you got to take a little risk, and this guy's a playmaker. And that's still something that this offense is lacking. And I know last season, look, it's pretty much the same. You had Torrey Smith. You had LeGarrette Blount. They're the guys that are really missing now. And Mike Wallace didn't work out because he got hurt. Darren Sproles got hurt. It's a shame. I mean, this team just gets hurt left and right. It's unbelievable. But they still need more playmakers on this offense. And I don't know if Le'Veon Bell is the answer. Is that going to be the fix-all of this offense? I don't know. Maybe he will be. Maybe you bring him in, you know, and it works out. And he's lightning, you know, right out of the chute. He's scoring touchdowns, and this offense is looking that much better. Maybe. But I don't know if they're going to make a trade for Le'Veon Bell. I mean, I heard, what was the rumor last week, a third-round pick. I mean, I would do it. But I don't know. Can I say with a straight face about it that they're going to get Le'Veon Bell after they didn't want to get Josh Gordon? I can't say that. But I do think Howie whiffed on that. I really do. I think he should have gotten Josh Gordon. And given up a fifth round pick that would have been to get him. Not giving up much. It's a risk. But I think it would have been worth it because I think it gives you another, certainly a weapon, a deep threat, which is still something this team is missing. Stretch the field type of receiver. And when you have a franchise quarterback like Carson Wentz, you still want to surround him with weapons. And what we've seen so far, it's funny, what we've seen since they didn't get Josh Gordon is a couple losses in 2 games where receivers are dropping passes in crucial situations. And Josh Gordon catches Tom Brady's 500th touchdown. And, and the jury's still out. I mean, there's still a whole season to go. I mean, who knows? But hey, if he refound himself with the Patriots and we had a chance to get him and we don't because they're scared, I think that falls on the front office. I really do. I mean, Jordan Matthews hasn't been a world beater here. I mean, Jordan Matthews, he scored a touchdown last week, but, I don't know. I'm sorry, they're 1-2 since getting Jordan Matthews and passing on Josh Gordon because that was before the Colts game. I would have gone Josh Gordon. I would have. And I'm not saying you play fantasy football every season. You just get all the stars. I'm not saying that. But he was a fix to a problem that this team had. And they didn't make that move. And I look at this receiving core, and I understand they get Alshon back. And he's made some plays. And he dropped a couple passes today. But he's made plays. He caught a big 4th down catch today. Had a nice game against Tennessee, a touchdown last week. He's played pretty good, decent so far. But if you added him with Josh Gordon, I mean, I think this offense looks that much better. I really do. And I think that was a mistake by Howie not getting him. And I don't know if they're going to go after Le'Veon Bell. To me, I don't know. I mean, look, their running backs get hurt every week. Okay, Jay Ajayi, you see Wendell Smallwood, they're both wrapping themselves up like a mummy every week. So, speaking of Halloween, right? So, I don't know. Maybe the injury concerns there, the lack, I just, of consistent play, maybe that puts it over the top for Howie, or maybe just the fact they've been losing some games. Doesn't want to, hey, I mean, this season is starting to spiral now. And they can help themselves by winning this Thursday night against the Giants. They really can. But if you're, the front office there, you're the GM, and you're seeing this team with the problems they've had getting off, the good starts offensively, maybe that puts it over the top for them to make a trade, for Le'Veon. We'll see. I don't know if he's the end all be all. I really don't. I think he would be an improvement here. I think he would be welcomed as another offensive weapon. But again, you gotta do the play calls. You gotta call the run. You gotta call plays for him. Not just make it so pass dominant. If you have a great running back, you gotta give him the ball. And I know Le'Veon's a good pass catching back too, but you gotta give him the ball. Let him make plays. Or if it's Jay Ajayi, Wendell Smallwood, Corey Clement, Darren Sproles, whoever is here on this team, you gotta give them the damn ball. Let them make plays. Frustrating. I think that's the word you've heard so much this week, and I think that's the word you're going to hear again so much. Now, the good thing is it's a short week because it's a Thursday night game, but it's frustrating. And again, I give credit to the Vikings. I give credit to their fans. You got your revenge today. But I look at it as an Eagles fan, and I see the mistakes that this team has made today, that they've made all season for the most part, and it just continues to go. And again, like I told my boss last week, boy, if it just seems like an 8-8 type of year. And I'm one of the more optimistic Eagles fans that you'll find. I hope this team wins every week. But they got to prove it to me. They got to go out there and play the way I know they're capable of playing. And they haven't done that for the most part. I understand that other Eagle fans on YouTube here, there's been a lot of frustration, and rightfully so. I mean, I watched DDP's video, and I'm not going to do what he did. He definitely he goes above and beyond with his frustration. But I understand the frustration, and the frustration is magnified this season because of what we saw this team do a year ago. And we know what they're capable of doing, and they haven't shown it to us. And I'm not just talking about winning a Super Bowl. I'm talking about how they played last season. We know what they're capable of doing. They just got to start doing it. And maybe they won't. Maybe this is what we got this season. Maybe this is what we got. But I know that this team is capable of better play than this. This has been foolish play. It's been piss poor all around. Coaching staff, players, everyone's got to step up. And this is a crucial time of the season that they got to do it. Okay? They're going up against the Giants in the Meadowlands, like I said. Then they got the Panthers coming in. And then they got at London against the Jaguars before a bye week. This is a crucial 3-week stretch. And it starts on a short week against the Giants. And I've seen that spark with certain teams this season. I've seen that spark with the Rams, with the Chiefs, with the Panthers. And that spark I saw with the Eagles last season. You never felt they were out of any game. You felt they always had a shot. It's been different this season. You're waiting for them to screw it up this season watching these games. And it's maddening, and hopefully it gets better. But it's up to the team to do it. They got to be the ones that, again, talking is cheap. They can say, this team always says all the right things during a week. They really do. They know how to say it. They know how to practice. But now you got to do it in the games. That's where it's most important. You can say all you want during the week and in your press conferences and phone conferences and interviews on the radios and everything, and you can talk it up all you want. And you can practice. You can have the greatest practices ever known to man. But you got to do it on the field on game day. That's when you got to do it. And we've seen this team do it. We saw them do it. Got to find a way, guys. Enough. The stupid penalties, it's never going to stop. But you got to hold it to a minimum, going forward here as best you can. And simple things like lining up the right way on offense. Come on. You got to do it. You got to protect your quarterback better. A defense, you have got to make more plays. You've got to get to the opposing quarterback, bring him down more without the penalties. And you got to get more turnovers. You got to find a way to get more turnovers. 5 turnovers in 5 weeks is not getting it done. 1 turnover a game is not getting it done. You got to find a way to get more turnovers. And we know this defense is better at doing it. We saw them do it. We know what they're capable of doing. They got to go out and do it. Oh, God, I went real long with this vid. I'm sorry. There's a lot of frustration. There's a lot I had to get off my chest here because I watch every game. I've seen I've seen so many disappointing losses in my time of being an Eagles fan. And I'm back every week watching it. I'm back every season watching it. And I'm back here on YouTube making videos every week after a win or a loss. You can guarantee that. But this has been ridiculous this season. And like I said, it's like this team just took a big just a big container of stupid juice this offseason and just keeps going. And it's got to get better. It's got to get better. We say what we do because we care about this team. And we are thankful for what they gave us last season. No one can ever take that away. But damn it, they're capable of playing better than they've shown, and they got to start damn well doing it this Thursday night against the Giants in the Meadowlands. That's for damn sure. As always, let's go Birds. Another tough one. The only saving grace is it's a shorter week until the next game, Thursday night. We'll be ready for it. I'll be here watching the game, hoping for better results across the board, and we'll see. Because like I said, this is a crucial 3-week stretch here. The season can be over by Thanksgiving, for all we know, if this thing keeps going. And I don't want to see that. I really don't want to see that. Because I remember what it was, Chip Kelly's last season, and it was hard to take. It was really hard to take. And the thing is, I'm like, that year, I know this year, I know this team is better than this. I do. And they got to show it. So I've went on for 53 minutes. I'm sorry, but tough one, Eagles Nation. I don't have the answers. None of us do. The only ones that have the answers are the players, the coaching staff. And they're the ones that have to turn this thing around, because it sucks being 2-3 after 5 weeks, after winning a Super Bowl championship. It sucks being 2-3, where you had some winnable games that you just let, the Titans game you let get away, the Vikings game, you showed up for a half at home in front of your home fans. One half of play isn't going to get it done. And it's damn well time you turn things around. Otherwise, this season's going to slip by. And people can talk about winning the division. This is still a winnable division. Well, you know what? One of those other teams can get hot for all we know. The way this Eagles team has played so far, even the division right now. Can I say with a straight face we're going to be division champs? They got to earn it. They got to show it. Every game is precious. Every week is precious. And you can't keep giving these things away. You can't do it. It's a 4 quarters game. You got to show up for all 4 quarters. You got to play all 4 quarters. Like this team did last season. They got to get back to it. The leaders got to step up and lead. And the players got to make the plays. The coaching staff has to do a better job at better play calling. Putting this team in better positions. 'Cause some of these penalties, this is on the coaching staff too. They got to do better. Doug and company's got to do better. Jim Schwartz, across the board, it's got to be better. Players has got to be better, and the front office has got to be better too. If there's a move to be made for Le'Veon Bell, you make the move. You make the move. Playmakers. Give this young quarterback, Carson Wentz, playmakers. I'm not saying he'll be the saving grace. He'll be, we're going to win the Super Bowl now because we got Le'Veon Bell. But it helps to get more playmakers on this team. You swung and missed at Josh Gordon. You decided not to go after him. That was an organizational decision. I think it was the wrong one to make. But you decided to do it. You have a chance at getting Le'Veon Bell. If there's a chance at it, you make it happen. You do it. And then we see how it goes. You take it from there. Anyhow, look, it's got to be better, particularly in the trenches, where this game is won and lost every week. You got to get better. And on Thursday night, I hope to see a different team out there. Because if it's the same one we've seen the past how many weeks, it's going to get real ugly real quick around here. So let's hope for better things on Thursday night. I'll be back a little later in the week with a preview vid, and then, of course, the post-game vid, which I hope to God is better than this one. Okay? Eagles lose 23-21 to the Vikings. They're 2-3. I saw someone put a tweet out there. It's a shame when the Browns have a better record than you at this point. It is what it is. Hey, shout out to Cleveland. They it wasn't perfect, but they got it done. And I'm seeing right now it's 16-all Dallas and Houston in overtime on Sunday Night Football. And again, go Houston. Any week Dallas loses, you can take at least a little solace from this one, right? All right, everyone, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Go Birds. God, please get better. Okay, bye. Stop drinking the stupid juice, Eagles.